to another unscripted TDK video at the end of another Trophyless campaign. I don't really have a plan for this. I'm just going to talk from the heart. I don't know what I'm going to say, because that's what unscripted means. But I'm just going to try and put down my thoughts. I'm recording the day after the PSG game, so this is just pretty raw. I was actually going to try and record something last night, but I think it would have got demonetized. Vague structure, context, problem, solutions. I don't know about you. 24-25, probably my least favorite season as a fan, as an adult, I think. Obviously I do this, so I have to cover it in more detail and I can't run away from it. But actually a lot of it's down to expectation versus reality, right? It's like if you don't expect anyone to do anything and they don't do it, then that's fine. But if your expectations were up here and they disappoint you, it's going to hurt more. And that's basically where I was at. But not only that, it's the manner of the way the season's played out. I'm not even trying to put blame here. I'm just saying, as fans, how a season plays out. It's been horrible. The injuries, the red cards, how the Premier League campaign's played out, the January window, the Liverpool's campaign, those Newcastle ties, getting so close in the Champions League, not seeing Saka for 3 months. I couldn't design you a harder campaign in some ways. And so then when we come to trying to understand where we're at and where we go next, there is so much hope, but right now, the day after the game, I have to be honest. My whole thing, I have to be honest with you guys, and I don't feel really optimistic. And the same Alex from 2 years ago going, come on guys, Mikel's going to take us to the moon. That's not where I'm at, and I have to be honest. As I mature, as the team matures, as the content matures, I have to say how I feel, and it's not how I feel. So maybe I'm going to say things that people don't agree with, and maybe I'm going too hard on the team, and maybe I will, because I'm sat here the day after the game hurting, and maybe you are too. But I have to say that, and I'll try and be as objective as I can, but anyone who tells you they're not biased, do not believe them. It's not possible. There are many positives to take from this campaign, but we can't hide our head in the sand. We have to look at the problems. So let's do it. I think one of the biggest issues for me, there's many, and I think sometimes what happens is we go, well, this is a problem, and then it's almost seen to cancel out all the other stuff. So anything I say, it's building a picture. I'm not saying this is the main. If I say injuries, that doesn't mean I don't think there's a problem with the game model. You know what I mean? And they're all related as well. If you don't have 5 or 6 players on your bench that you would normally have, that's going to affect your ability to play how you want to play. Of course it is. So everything's interwoven and everything kind of builds a picture. But I don't know if this is the biggest problem right now, but the problem I'm focusing on after this game is this, and I've spoken about it before. Our whole game model is built on probability, essentially. Even though Mikel talks about moments, and actually he's increasingly so. I made a video recently where I talked about his sort of change in messaging a little bit, and that's, sorry to toot my own horn, but continuing to be true. It was an interview with Men in Blazers the other day where he's talking about the magic moments, he's talking about giving the players freedom and stuff, but you can't change a game model overnight. He came in 2020. I remember there was an interview with Kieran Tierney when he first came in, and with Sky, I think it was, and he said he's such a good coach, Mikel. He tells you what's going to happen on the pitch. I remember watching that and being like, oh great, because we come from that kind of chaos ball thing, and I was like, this is great. Is it now? I'm not in the dressing room. I don't know, and maybe Mikel is encouraging the players to be free and play with freedom and play with expression. But you can encourage it, but if you bought a squad and molded a whole team and an identity and a system around control, you can't just talk to them and say, okay guys, now go be free. That doesn't happen like that. So, and I think this is a big problem. Our whole identity at the minute is built around what feels like, okay, I'm going to construct my team to build in patterns to put the ball into the best XG position possible. I'm going to, for example, in the PSG game, continue with long throws, even with moments left of the game, just continue to throw the ball long. That is the best possible method against PSG. And if you for every 10 long throws, we create a chance of 0 point whatever. And to be clear, I don't hate that idea. I don't hate that philosophy. It's not a bad way of setting up a team, to be honest. It's just you have to find space within that philosophy for the present moment, for the unexpected, for the players to show their God-given gifts. We saw what happened with Declan Rice when he was given a bit of freedom. Mikel and Nikolasiova were telling him to cross, and he shot, and he got us through against Real Madrid. That's what happens. And this staleness I feel from this team in terms of our attacking patterns, in terms of our dynamics, in terms of our tempo, in terms of our quality of chance creation, it has to shift. It has to shift. And I know people will be commenting and saying, yeah, but look at our XG numbers and look at Donnarumma's performance. Absolutely. If you take it in isolated games, I think it was more. I think I'm right in saying it was more likely we scored 10 goals against Newcastle than 0. I could be wrong, but it's certainly a lot of goals than 0. Or you look at the XG numbers against PSG, it'll happen. But if that keeps happening, if you keep meriting to win the game but not, that's also a problem. You can't bury your head in the sand and say it'll come. It hasn't come yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm just ranting into the wind a little bit, but I just feel rigidness, this staleness. We can't create momentum in games. We can create dominance and we can win it back very quickly, but that attacking fear, the thing that can't be shown in the XG numbers, the thing that can't be shown on the field tilt maps, that sense of fear, that quality of the ball striking, that thing that you can't put into a game model, just that moment, it's not happening. And I think a lot of it comes back to attacking talent. I think we know that. And maybe the more frustrating part is feels like we've known that for a long time. I would contest a lot of people last summer were going, well, we've kind of found habits at the end of this season. If we put Martinelli in the right positions and, Saka's developing and whatever. But the frustrating part is it feels like the attacking talent is kind of the only way. But it's also about Mikel releasing the chains on this team and maybe going, does my rest defense have to be this good? Or can I throw caution to the wind a little bit more? You could disagree with everything I've said in terms of the problem, and that's fine. But whatever it is, as we move on to the solutions, we have to find a way of not just meriting to win games, but winning games. That is the problem at Arsenal, in my opinion. And for me, a lot of it comes back to attacking talent, but a big part of it is releasing the shackles. This team being allowed to play with a freedom, and that might take some movement, considering that's not how we've constructed this squad, and it's not how we constructed what's a lot of what is good about this team. Let's talk solutions. I don't like moaning. I really don't like moaning. We've got to come to solutions. We discussed attacking talent, and the frustrating part is you could probably stop, Steve on the street, and Steve, a Leyton Orient fan, will be able to say, well, Arsenal probably need a striker, don't they? And you could also probably stop a member of Arsenal's recruitment team who's, deep in the data analytics. If you look at our box touch conversions and you look at whatever, like someone on that level would also probably say the same thing. We look back to, that game against Bayern Munich. We all basically felt the same thing as now, pretty much, and we didn't do anything. As I say, last summer, you could create an argument for why we maybe didn't need a forward. But now I think we're at a point where there is literally no debate. There is not a debate. I don't think there's a single person on the planet who would say that Arsenal don't need some kind of forward this summer. And yeah, I'm not gonna give you some brilliant analysis. You know that. But the other thing, and a big part of the solution, there's going to be many solutions, and I want to do like a data review, and I want to do loads of stuff and get more specific about what the problem is. And I've sort of been saying this for a while, but George on the Cannon podcast said it perfectly. I don't want to have to squint to see talent anymore. I just don't want to. I don't want to have conversations. I'm not going to name names right now, but I don't want to have to look at certain players and go, oh, but if I put you in the right position, if I got you an overlap, and if I, maybe if you go away and have some rest, and maybe if this thing happens, and maybe if I get you that. I look at, Gabriel, Saliba, Rice, and Saka. Those are probably my 4. And then maybe approaching that group is, the Rayas, the Timbers, and whatever. Maybe Havertz would have been there, but obviously he's been injured. They do it no matter the circumstance, no matter the day, no matter what the spaces are, no matter what the environment is, no matter where they're receiving the ball, no matter what their fitness level is, whatever it is, they just get it done. And I don't want to continue to have conversations about players where you go, but if you look at get rid of it. You don't have to squint to see Barcola's talent. You don't have to squint to see Vitinha's talent. You don't have to squint to see Nuno Mendes' talent. You don't have to squint to see Hakimi or Donnarumma. And that's who we're up against. We have a huge space to grow in terms of our wages, and we have to go and do that. And I just don't want to have any more conversations. And I'm not saying certain people can't be members of the squad, or I'm not saying certain people can't be a part of Arsenal. Absolutely, they can be. But I don't want any more conversations where we're going, how to fix this player, or potentially if this person, just sign the best talent. Just sign the best talent. And to find those players, well, it's really, really hard. But my point is, if that player is available, if we can get them, there shouldn't even be a debate about whether we go and do it, because we have to be ruthless. We have to find more players for that group of 4 or 5 or however many you think it is. Mikel hasn't got the time. Mikel has not got the time, and we don't have the time as a project to be if buts and maybes on certain players. We just have to be ruthless. Even if the argument is accurate, even if he was given that, okay, cool, you're probably right. We don't have the time. I still fully back Mikel Arteta. Every single manager has their flaws, has their issues with their game model, has their issues with what they're doing, and he has adapted. What I'm seeing as the problem, wasn't the same problem. It's been a problem, I think, for too long now, but it wasn't the problem, let's say, in 2021 or whatever. So he has adapted, he has shifted based on the players, and if he gets an investment, then I believe he will shift it. But he needs that investment, and if he can't shift it after that investment, after signing more players this summer, then yeah, we're going to have a conversation. But I back him to do that because he has done that shift before, and I think he's one of the most talented coaches in the world. I don't think anyone. I don't know how you can watch those Real Madrid games over 2 legs and think, yeah, this guy's out of his depth. I don't think you can watch those PSG games and think the number one issue is Mikel Arteta. I find that really hard to stomach. What I think you can say is, looking over a wider context, we've had the same issue reoccurring, and he has to take some credit for that. So, or maybe not credit. I don't like these types of videos. I don't like moaning about the team, and maybe I'll feel different and more hopeful, and let's see what happens in the summer. It's the day after. I'm still in pain, to be honest. But that's how I'm feeling right now. Yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. We should come second in the league. We got further in the Champions League. We got to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Okay, we went out in the FA Cup, but it was pretty tight. I don't want this video to come across like I'm sort of completely ignoring all the positive aspects. I actually think we've taken a massive step forward in some ways, and I'll come to that over the summer. But we also can't stick our head in the sand. I love this team. I really do. I love how hard they work. I love the buy-in. Some of our players are extraordinary footballers, but they need support and they need help. The one thing I think I can never question about this team is the commitment. I really do believe that. I believe everyone is fighting for the badge, and I absolutely love that. And because of that, I can give you my positive regard. Even when it's going wrong, I can say, okay, I can see and feel that you care about this as much as I do. And we should look around and realize that is not always the case. Yes, we're hurting. Yes, we're struggling, but we're not Spurs. We're not United. We're not Chelsea. City about to be hit with a points deduction probably. We're in a very, very good position, but we have some fundamental issues. And both of those things can be true. Final thing to say is thank you all so much for your support this season. It doesn't go unnoticed, all your comments. You guys are funny as well, man. I just like to be able to do this as a job. You can't understand how grateful I am, and that's down to you. And that's down to everyone supporting and watching and being there. Over the summer, we'll be doing loads of stuff on individual players and what Mikel needs to do. We'll look into the data. We'll look into all sorts of stuff. I'll probably want to do a full deep dive on the game model and put a bit more meat behind that argument, but that's basically how I feel. But yeah, just a massive thank you for being here and supporting. Arsenal may disappoint, but TDK will still be here no matter what. Just quickly, by the way, if you want to get the videos early and support the channel, you can do so on patreon.com/differentknock. Thank you for being here. We'll be back. See you soon.